All right, class. Well, it's a new week, and we are talking more about universal design for learning. And so this week it says universal design for learning applied. So hopefully you have a good foundation of universal design for learning, what it's all about. Provide options for representation, action expression, and engagement, and what those all mean. And so this week there are readings that you'll complete, and it talks about the principles in more detail. And these all talk about some good principles of universal design for learning right from basically the CASTs, the Center for Applied and Special Technology, the source of universal design for learning theory and ideas. And then you go to about learning styles. There are a couple of videos to watch about learning styles, and I think these are very useful to understand. I think something to talk about or something to remember in this whole discussion is oftentimes we confuse things like universal design for learning or even multiple intelligences, you might have heard of that approach, with learning styles. And probably you've heard about learning styles. You've probably heard students maybe to say, I'm a visual learner. I've got to see it in visual. Or I'm a kinesthetic learner, meaning I need to move around in order to learn something. I need to have, if I can combine the learning with some kind of physical movement, then I will learn better. And to some degree this might be true, but the problems with this theory are outlined in these videos. There's some real problems with the whole learning styles way of thinking. And those problems are independent of universal design for learning and multiple intelligences. Universal design for learning, there is good research backing this up, this idea of providing multiple representations for students, whether that's visual and audio or whatever you choose. There's good research that backs up the idea that if students receive something in multiple mediums or multiple ways, then they will learn better. What there is not good research about is learning styles, in which a student might be is kind of locked into this zone of being a visual learner. Therefore, everything must be visual, and everything that they learn has to be visual. That's not exactly true, although it has received a lot of traction in the education area, as teachers talk about, well, there's for visual learners, I need to do this. A learner is not necessarily visual, and these videos will help you to see why. Or kinesthetic, or whatever the learner might be. These videos will help you to see why that's the case, and I think it's important to remember. Also, there is a tech talk. Is this a tech talk? Yeah. So this is a nice tech talk about Kahoot, and it provides us some information on this topic of Kahoot, this nice classroom response system that really gets students active and going. And that's about it for this week. And the reason why there's not so much this week is because you have a big assignment due next week. So let's look there on what this assignment is all about. I wanted to introduce it today, of course, so that you know and can be preparing for it. So next week there's quite a few things we're learning about information literacy and copyright, but at the bottom, due April 6th, is the Universal Design for Learning Plan. It was originally listed under this week, but I wanted to give you more time to think about and implement this project. So for this project, choose an existing lesson plan that you have created and or taught to your students. Your job is to add elements of universal design for learning to this lesson plan. This includes providing for multiple means of engagement, representation, and or action and expression. So those are the three areas: engagement, representation, action, and expression. So as you're reading this week, think about how you might choose a lesson and include these ways that it could provide more means using technology. Now you're going to use technology for this. This is obviously a technology class, so make sure you do think about how technology can be used to support providing multiple means of these things. And also be sure to use a technology tool, implement this new lesson in your class, and reflect upon the experience. So obviously for those of you who are teachers and in the classroom, you can think about a class that this would work for. Choose a lesson plan. You're going to choose an original lesson plan and augment it or update it with some of these multiple means of engagement, representation, or action and expression. And I'm challenging you to use at least 2 out of the 3 areas of universal design for learning. So engagement, representation, action, and expression. Choose at least 2 of the 3 and implement those into your new lesson plan. So as I often remind people, don't choose a lesson plan that is the best ever and your students already love and it's working out great. As you know, teachers, the best lesson plans to choose to implement new things with or to update are those that need the work, right? That maybe haven't come off the best in your class and you want to see if you can engage students a little bit differently the next time. So you're going to include as part of this assignment the original unchanged lesson plan and the updated lesson plan that now includes elements of universal design for learning. And this will include all of the things that we have done before: lesson title and summary, content standards and objectives, description of learners including grade and subject, list of materials and technologies, learning activities that would be completed, and a detailed description of each activity, including what the teacher and students will do during each activity, which should be aligned with the objectives. A description of how, this is a separate thing, a description of how universal design for learning is included in the lesson and how a technology tool or resource plays a part to support universal design for learning. An assessment plan that shows how you would measure student learning, and then a reflection on the experience of teaching this new lesson, which includes answers to the following questions. It asks you to talk about successes, challenges, and ideas for redesign if you were to teach the lesson again. So that's very similar to other lesson plan formats that we had, particularly the active learning one, in which I asked you to implement something in your classroom or with a group of students. Now again, I realize that some of you do not have your own classroom, might not have access to students in which to teach this, so make sure that you, instead of submitting the reflection part, then you would again submit a 1-page APA formatted paper about universal design for learning. What is universal design for learning, and how might you use technology to support the 3 different elements or the 3 different areas: action, expression, action/expression, representation, and engagement, using technology in a classroom situation. So you're still going to submit a lesson plan and an updated lesson version of that lesson plan with universal design elements added in, but you'll also add a 1-page paper about universal design for learning, how can it be supported with technology in all the 3 different areas of universal design for learning. And that will make up your reflection portion of the assignment, points for that. So that's the assignment going forward, and a lot of the time that you have, hopefully you have some time this week, as we don't have a lot going on in this week, to plan for this lesson. And then, as always, if you are a classroom teacher and there is a lesson that you would like to try this with in the future, but not within the time period of this assignment, like by April 6th you don't think you can get it done, which is, coming up pretty quickly, then what I would suggest you do is just send me an email or communicate with me through Remind, and just let me know that you're going to do this, but you want to do it the week after or later than that. It does have to be done before the end of this semester in this class, but I know that school schedules need some flexibility, so take a look at that assignment and see what you can do to make that work for your situation. So, but for this week, we just have these, March 25th through 30th, we just have these few activities, and then, of course, planning for that assignment.